Now we'll get back to cPanel here in just a little bit, but for the time being, I want to work on getting our FTP client set up. Now there'll be times whenever there are certain parts of our blogging endeavors that will require us to use the cPanel to add more files to our blog. And then there are times whenever an FTP client is faster, better, and or is the only way to add that particular type of file to our blog. So having the ability to use both your cPanel control panel and an FTP client to add to your blog's files is good knowledge to have. So with that said, we'll be back to the cPanel here in a bit, but for the time being, I want to show you how to get a hold of an awesome FTP client. It's called FileZilla. You may have heard of it. And I myself use one that's called Qt FTP. There's a zillion of them out there. Some are paid, some are free, some are great, some just stink. The FileZilla, as far as free, is very good. There's even some plugins for Firefox that work really good. But for the sake of this video, we're going to stick with FileZilla because it's pretty popular, very strong, and, well, it just works really good. So you can just type into your favorite search engine, FileZilla, do a search for it. And the one that you're going to be looking for is the client, not the server. So let's go ahead, and usually the top one is the one you're going to be looking for, the FileZilla-project.org. And we can go here to client download, because that's what we're really looking for, is the client download. But if you come to a page that has client or server, you want the client. Just let that be known. And depending upon what operating system you have, be it Linux, Windows, Mac, what have you, just choose the right one. And it's pretty straightforward download. Once you get it downloaded, just install it and you're ready to go. Now, once you get it installed, it will, if you opt to, it'll have a little icon on your desktop. You just double click on that to open up your FileZilla software, and that's where we're going to start off at. And as I went to open up my FileZilla, I was notified that there's a new one and to go ahead and download and install it. So I figured, yeah, what the heck, let's go ahead and do that. But for the most part, it looks pretty much the same. I mean, the icons look a little different, but I would imagine that there's a little bit of change somewhere. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been an update. But basically, you've got two ways. Well, there's probably several, but there's two basic ways you can log on to your server through FileZilla. Right here is the quick connect method, where you put in your host, username, password, and you can leave the port alone, but it's basically 21, and unless you're told otherwise. Or you can come on up here to File, Site Manager, and this is where you would keep a running tab of all of the login details of your sites, and you can have it a little more organized as well than through what would be the quick connect method up top here. So here, for example, we can just go to my sites, go to new folder or new site. We just go here, go to new site, and give it whatever name you want. There's not going to be a test later, so you just name it whatever you want. And then come on over here to the host, port, server type, and all this good stuff here is stuff that you would have received in that original email from your web hosting company. So what you're looking for here as far as the host, that is your domain name. You don't need the HTTP or the www. So in the example that we've got here, this is that example that I had showed you in an earlier video on the organizational tips and techniques and whatnot. So using this as a guide to go by, this is what we've got so far. The rest of this stuff here is just waiting to be filled in. So these are just placeholders. But basically we've got the URL here. Again, this is the host name. I'm going to copy that. Put that bad boy right up here. And the port, we can leave it alone or just put in 21. And then the server type, we just want the normal FTP, just as it is in the default here. And login type, we want normal. Come on down here and change that to normal from anonymous. Let's go ahead and grab our username. Now we'll go right in here where it's got anonymous. Put in the username and the password. And then we've got the password here. And this should go without saying, but hey, I'm going to say it anyway. With the password, you want to be careful not to have any blank spaces. If you're going to copy and paste like I'm doing, you want to make sure you don't have any blank spaces before or after. Otherwise, that is determined as part of the password. So unless that is the actual part of the password, then it's not going to work. So we're going to just copy, paste that right in there. And any comments you want to put in here for whatever reason, maybe the name of the person that you're outsourcing this particular task to and you've assigned this to them, maybe put their name and contact info in there, whatever. and then click on connect, and if all goes well, then we get this. Yay! So this right up here gives you an idea as to what's taking place on the server. This right down here gives you an idea as to what's taking place from your computer to the server or vice versa. Basically the transfer process, whether it's from your server to your desktop or the other way around. This side over here is your local site, otherwise known as your computer. This side over here is your remote site, otherwise known as your server. And this is the root directory right here, this little forward slash. And then down here are the files, and you can manipulate this stuff, just move things all around to whatever suits you. And if you really don't care what's going on down here, of course I'm kind of scrunched together here because of the video, but if you've got a larger screen than what I'm working with here, then of course you can, go to town with the size here. Now this is not a video on FileZilla. This is just a video on hooking up to the FTP client. So there's a lot more you can get out of FileZilla than just what I'm going to be covering in this little video. And for that matter, you can go up here to help and get all kinds of good details from it right here in the help section from within FileZilla. There's plenty of tutorials online that can help you cross the T's and dot the I's and learn much more about FileZilla. But for the sake of our videos, insofar as creating and updating and tweaking our blogs, this is enough. So thank you very much for watching this short little video. You have